Hello there, everybody. Sabata92, aka Nightmare, and welcome to a show that's been on my list ever since I guess first off, ever since the reaction reviews started kicking off, because those turned out to be quite popular, I've noticed. But this show, particularly Baccano, has been a very long time coming, in my personal opinion. Which is not opinion, it's fact because it's been on my list for quite some time, but it kept getting pushed back by other shows that grabbed my attention instead. So I figured, you know what? It's finally time we give this show its run and we finally check out to see what it's like. So we're going to be doing this one a little bit differently. This is ironically the first time that I'm going to be watching a show English dubbed, of all things. Apparently, it was extremely recommended that I tackle this show in its English dub. It should be fun. It's definitely weird. I'm so used to hearing like Japanese dub, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a dub or a sub kind of person. I like both. I realize they both have their strengths and they both have their weaknesses. So this is definitely one of the first times where I'm kind of shocked that it would be preferred that I tackle this with the English dub instead. Now, obviously, this is going to be... I'm not entirely sure I'm going to handle this. I'm so used to the subtitles, which allows me to gather my thoughts. Personally, I figure, like, having the subtitles makes it easier for me to gather my thoughts properly. So this is going to be... This is going to be very much a different kind of experience. First things first, obviously, SkydivingQuagga is the one responsible for the thumbnail template. I think he did a fantastic job. I'm still not entirely sure what we're going with. I know that we're supposed to be like the before the 2000s era, I believe is supposed to be the time period. What was it, like the 1950s, I think? I don't know. I don't remember precisely. I think it was like I think it's supposed to take place like 1950s era, I believe. Let me see. I want to make sure that I'm getting this correctly so you guys don't have to worry too much here. Let's see. 1930s. Yeah, that was that's the time period. So 1930s. That's gonna be kind of hard for me to get my mindset into, but I'll see what I can do. Anyway, this is gonna be a very different kind of experience. I'm wondering. I don't know. I'm a little nervous because this show is like highly like I guess I want to say it's positively reviewed and it's a fan favorite among some people. So I'm worried that I may not be able to do a show like that justice, but I'm gonna try my best, especially considering the show's only like 13 episodes. According to Ardith though, it's actually 16 if you count in the OVAs, and I think there was a holiday or was there a movie? I think 16 total if you include the OVAs. Okay. So there's like 3 OVAs. Let's have to figure out where the hell they are. Anyway, I've kept all of you waiting long enough. Let's just kind of see what I'm getting myself into. Hey, that was actually a very... I chose a very bad place to pause. I chose a very bad image to pause on there. Okay. Let's get on with my thoughts here. So I've been introduced into the world of Baccano. So far, the English cast actually doesn't sound that bad. I feel like maybe it's a little bit more difficult for me to kind of keep up a little bit, but maybe it's just because it's the first episode. So right off the bat, we were introduced to Carol and this vice president, whose name I've unfortunately already forgotten. And they work at a newspaper, or they probably own the fucking... Well, I mean, he's the vice president. Oh, well. They are reporters for some sort of newspaper. And they're talking about some strange events that happened in the year 1930. So that already kind of gives me an idea of what I'm going to be getting myself into. I'm imagining there's going to be splices where it's going to be switching between Carol and the vice president's perspective and the years or the events that happened in 1931. Or I'm sorry, 1930. I'm assuming that's when they started. But however, one thing's for certain. There's these strange phenomena where there are characters that are seemingly immortal. I say seemingly because I saw that little boy get his head blown off, blown to pieces, and it was only later that it suddenly reformed. So I'm assuming that the immortality probably works depending on the severity of the wound that's inflicted on the person, I'm assuming. And there are multiple immortals. However, there is one blonde guy whose name escaped me. It seems like he was the one that must have committed the massacre that happened on the Flying Pussyfoot train. And judging by the fact that he's casually able to just kind of, I don't know, poke his mangled fucking remains of an arm and wave it all willy-nilly, maybe he himself is an immortal, but then again, judging by his battered condition and the fact that his arm hadn't regenerated, maybe he's not? I don't necessarily know. We're gonna have to get a little bit more about this guy. But right off the bat, already have a huge cast of characters, and they're all just kind of together, I guess. So they're all going to be going onto this train. But hoping that it'll be safe, considering that from the way the scene was being played out, like, they're getting on the Pussyfoot train right... No, wait, that can't be right. Am I getting the time mixed up here? Because from the way... I mean, why would the train still be going after such a massacre? Wouldn't there be an investigation on the train itself? Why would they just suddenly let the train just go off right after a sudden massacre like that? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'll get more answers when I get into the next episode. So, relatively good start. I'm gonna grab my notebook because I feel like I need to start actually taking notes. Because I feel like this is something that I'm really gonna have to try to take some consideration and some notes in here. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Alright, now, hello there everybody. We are now on episode 2 of Baccano. So, first episode, kinda got a feel for what's going on here. It seems like there's 2 different perspectives being played right now. Carol and the Vice President, who are seemingly in the future right now, going over the events of what happened in 1930, and then us actually witnessing what's going on in 1930. And already being introduced to quite a colorful cast of characters, multiple Mafia families, and the existence of immortals, which now I know that there's at least 4 immortals among the cast that I am aware of. That little boy, the 2 Mafia men, and that guy who had his ear chipped. It's gonna take me some time to kind of get used to or remember what their names are. So thankfully, I got myself a little sketchbook, aka my notebook, to kind of keep track of all of the characters' names, so that way it's a little bit easier for me. I think the actual issue, though, is because I'm so used to subs, it's a little bit easier for me to kind of get names memorized. Maybe that's my issue. Probably what it is. Or maybe it's just because it's literally just the first episode. However, it looks like there was a bit of a massacre on this train with a really unfortunate name. And I can only assume the perpetrator was that blonde man who was also threatening the girl he had his arm around. Also the same man who fucking blown up the goddamn kid's fucking head. But it regenerated. Okay. Cool. Fucking great. So what the fuck's gonna happen? Okay, and with that, that was the end of episode 2. So now, we have the group on the train. We now have 3 parties. We have the main group, and it seems like the main group is actually, I haven't seen the other characters. It's comprised of Isaac, Midia, Nice, and Jacuzzi, as well as a few other characters too. And then there's the white group, the white coats. They are being led by this dude named, I'm assuming they're being led by this dude named Lad. And then there's the black coat group that's being led by, I should have gotten his name. It's probably in this list. I'll probably have to find it, but it seems like they're enacting some sort of plan, which is kind of weird. It's starting to conflict with what happens from what I've seen. I'm assuming that this episode showed the dude in the white. His name was Lad. He was one of the only survivors on that train. Somehow. And I'm assuming that this must take place. This train right here is taking place before they find him. So, this is gonna be different. Okay, well, I will say right off the bat, I think it's pretty obvious right now. Isaac and Miria, best fucking characters, period, right now. Nice and Jacuzzi are a very close second. Like, they're pretty damn good, too, so far. Lad terrifies me. And I think I just witnessed a conductor get murdered. So there's also that. Fucking great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep this little note. Specifically these characters and all that. Oh, and I also learned that the dude's name is pronounced Cheslaw. The kid, at least. And we learned about this supposed legend of something called the Rail Tracer. And it seems like there's some sort of ritual that's about to go on. Blackcoats. Sells ghosts. Fear of death. Like perfect soldiers and stuff. Oh, delightful. This is going to be fun to try to keep track of. Even though there's only... Oh well. Anyway, we have officially gotten started on Baccano. I feel like maybe keeping a hold of these notes is going to help me out considerably. Especially keeping track of what's going on and being able to kind of get an idea and a feel for what the characters are like. I will say it again. Right off the back, favorite characters right now are Isaac, Midia, Nice, and Jacuzzi. Absolutely loving them so far. Lad scares me, and Firo, from the little bit that I've seen of him, pretty cool. I'm really wondering how we're going to see what this whole immortal thing is. Actually, I can already imagine. I have a theory. It's a very small theory here. This ritual that takes place. Maybe the ritual that takes place where certain characters die, maybe that's how they're... No, you're right. Cheslaw made a comment that there might be other mortals on the train, which he would be correct on that. So... damn it, my head hurts! I'm keeping this notebook. I'm keeping this notepad. I'm keeping the papers. I'm taking the notes. And that's how I'm going to be tackling this show. So if y'all like this, be sure to let me know. I'm already loving what I'm seeing so far, and I can't wait to watch more. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see all of you guys next week.